Do you love to play golf? Do you wish you could be a more consistent and confident player? Well, you're in the right place. This is the Golf Strategy School podcast, where we discuss specific practice strategies used by some of the best golf instructors from around the world. Here's your host, Marty Griffin.
Hey there, Golf Strategy School. Marty back with you here again, and this episode's question comes from Chase. Chase is asking, his question reads, "Hey Marty, really burning a lot of strokes around the greens. Seems like I don't have a consistent low point in my chipping. Some are fat, some are thin, but rarely perfect. Any thoughts?" Well, Chase, situations like this where you have a inconsistent, I guess I'll say, low point, it usually results from, at least with chipping, the fact that you're getting overly handsy in the actual action. So a lot of people, especially beginners or newer folks, they'll get into this mindset that the fingertips and the hands have all this feel, so that should be what's controlling all of the force that goes into the shot, as well as, kind of cutting out those bigger muscles. I see it all the time where people just take their wrist and they just kind of chop right at the ball. And those ones are even less consistent than kind of what you're describing. At least you're getting a couple that do end up going on target. Well, maybe not just on target, but actually correct distance-wise. So the way that we can kind of get around this, it's a really, really easy setup. If you have some water bottles, this is a really easy thing to do. If you're on the course or if you're at your practice facility, heck, honestly, you can do this at home. So you take 2 water bottles. If you're at home, they can be empty, and they should be empty. If you're on course, then depending on how much wind you have, if you feel that your empty water bottles are going to blow away, maybe put some water in them. But what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 water bottles and you're going to set them up so one water bottle is about a foot behind the ball. The other water bottle is about a foot in front of the ball. And so the idea is that these water bottles are going in the same direction as your feet, so actually perpendicular to your target line. But the idea here is that if you're flipping your club into that impact zone, you're not going to be able to consistently make your shot and not hit either one of those water bottles. So again, with that kind of 2-foot window, I forget where I heard it from, but someone referred to this as chipping jail. I thought that was kind of cool. But that's essentially what you're putting yourself in, is you're setting these defined parameters from where you can actually hit the ball, and you're going to get this very real physical feedback if you don't correctly accommodate those restraints. So again, you're flipping into the ball, which means that we got to quiet down those hands. I highly encourage you to go back and listen to Brandan Stooksbury's episode. And in that episode, he talks about his book dealing with short game solutions, and Brandon's kind of a short game expert. And the idea is that we want to remove as many variables as possible, just like we want to do with everything. The less variables, the easier the solution becomes. So with chipping specifically, if you're really getting wristy with it, that means that not just your arms and shoulders are moving, your wrists are another, what Brandon calls them, another hinge. And you want to remove as many of these hinges as possible, because that allows you to be more consistent, the solution, in your chip shots. So, like I said, you can do this at home with probably a wiffle ball. I don't know if you would want to test the strength of your drywall or anything like that, but you set down parameters. Like I said, about a foot in front and a foot behind. If you're really, really struggling, keep in mind our kind of butter zone for our practice success rate is between 30 and 70%. So if you have that foot behind the ball and foot in front of the ball, and you still can't do it at least 30% of the time, then you might want to consider 18 inches in front and behind, or some variation to that to make it a little bit easier on yourself, because you need to experience success in order to actually improve and not just get discouraged at yourself. So again, 30 to 70% is that optimal zone. Maybe this is an easy thing for you to do. Okay, I'm flipping my hands too much. I just need to rock my shoulders more. Well, then 2 feet might be too much room, and you're able to do it every single time. Well, in that circumstance, then maybe pin it in 3 inches on each side. So then you're only dealing with an 18-inch span. You don't want to get it too small, though, because then you're really kind of chopping down at the ball, and that's going to take you in a negative direction in terms of your progress. But again, your inconsistency at the bottom of that chip shot, it's a really small motion. We don't need a lot of hinges and things to add power. You're only moving the ball maybe 20. I mean, you mentioned greenside, so even if you're 10 to 20 yards off at the most, you can still get away with this. The idea is that you want to get the ball on the ground as soon as possible, because again, that's removing variables. The longer the ball flies, the more of a variable you have in that shot. Again, Brandon talks about this in detail in his episode. Also, check out the coaching replays on the membership site. One of them is with Brandon, and it deals exactly with this topic. So that's about an hour discussion there. Feel free to check that out in the Golf Strategy Academy member site. That'll definitely help you out. The other thing that I think might help you a little bit is kind of learning a little bit of touch around the greens. A lot of people, they run into this situation where like one bad shot, especially like not a chunked chip, but when you kind of stuff it into like thick grass, if the ball's sitting down and it's really hard to get out, I guess we can call it a chunk. So if you are in that situation where you maybe had that one chunk shot and now you feel like everything's got to have all this extra power just to get through it, remind yourself that this is one fluid motion. And I saw this as a demo by Hale Irwin. And to me, it was just profoundly awesome. What he did, and I'll see if I can find the actual video. What he did is he's talking about chipping touch, specifically greenside chipping touch, like you are, Chase. And he said, just take a ball, you take your address like you're going to hit a shot, and instead of swinging your club, take a ball, throw it at the cup. Try to hit that shot, quote unquote, hit that shot, but you do it by just throwing that ball. And so the idea here is that your hands with the club should move at that same pace. So, maybe it takes you 2 or 3 balls to figure out what a good touch is in terms of tossing the ball, but that's an awesome way to kind of give yourself this different type of physical feedback to maybe get your brain to grasp onto it a little bit better. And again, just take that address, throw the ball at the cup, and pay attention to how fast your hands are moving, because that's all the faster that they need to move during the chip shot as well. So I hope that helps you out, Chase. Absolutely let me know how it works in the membership Facebook group. Also, if any of you are interested in joining the Golf Strategy Academy, you can do so. You can hear more about it at golfstrategyschool.com/membership-info. And there you can hear my little video in terms of what the Academy all entails. But we've got like 30 days, more than 30 days worth of practice routines up on the website. I've got a specific order for you to follow that will actually improve your game. This isn't swing tips. This is how to practice to actually get better. So I'm giving you custom focused practice routines to do this. And one of the things that I'm tacking on for new members, if you join at the annual subscription, not only do you get 2 months free, but I'll also toss in a free coaching call. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. If you want more info on the membership, you can check it out again at golfstrategyschool.com/membership-info. Otherwise, I'll catch you all on the short grass. Cheers!